President Trump has taken more than 300 executive actions, so it can be hard to keep up with it all. The man has already done more and answered more questions even than Biden ever did in 4 whole years. But that's to say that in addition to the Iron Dome, there's another executive order that friend of the show, Todd Bensman of the Center for Immigration Studies, says isn't getting as much attention as it should. It's titled, Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. Bensman writes, quote, the EO seems to encompass one unnoticed visa category, the potentially thousands of foreign college students on F-1 visas believed to have demonstrated on behalf of the U.S.-designated terrorist organization Hamas, and for the group to commit genocide against Israel. The EO would also seem to cover F-1 visa applicants still abroad deemed inclined to join them. Although the EO doesn't explicitly identify these demonstrators for targeting, its language surely allows for the Trump administration to open a front that would, barring expected litigation, eventually seek visa revocations and deportations of foreign students who can be identified as participating, end quote. Joining us now to discuss is Mark Krikorian, the executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies. Mark, thanks for being here tonight.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. So do you agree with your colleague here, Todd Bensman, that the executive order Trump signed seems to cover these F-1 visa applicants, or at least it could?
Sure. I always agree with Todd anyway. But yes, it seems to me pretty clear that it's designed for the problem that you see with foreign students supporting Hamas, even though it's not just about that, because next year there may be some other group of genocidal nutcases who hate America who are on college campuses. So that's why it's written broadly, but clearly it would apply to a lot of these pro-Hamas protesters. And see, the reason is that it doesn't just say you can't be a terrorist. Well, that's already the law. And it doesn't say that if you're giving money or sending guns to terrorists, you would be excludable. That's already the case. It says if you're advocating on behalf of terrorist organizations or are hostile to the culture and people and system of government of the United States, you can be denied a visa or deported. That's new, and that's very important.
That it is, and as Bensman stresses in the piece, that future litigation could hold up some of this when it comes to these F-1 visa applicants or holders. But I think the distinction or the delineation to make is exactly what you're saying. It's not so much politics, right? Because I think they're going to try and do the free speech grounds, which is funny because foreign nationals aren't exactly covered by our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, our free speech, First Amendment. However, they may try and make the free speech argument, but I think it falls short because we're not talking about politics necessarily, though there is some overlap. It's more of the ideology, as you're saying, is we have a border, or at least we didn't under Biden, but we do have a border again. We are reclaiming our borders, and we can be choosy on who we allow into our nation. And if you are openly hostile to our country as is, if you hate America, you hate the tenets of America, and you at least vocally or outwardly support our declared enemies, our adversaries, we are under absolutely no obligation to let you into our country. I think it's as simple as that, right? But they're going to try and spin into, oh, censoring free speech. And I thought you right people on the right love free speech these days. But those are two separate arguments, right?
They should be. The thing is that when the Cold War ended, Barney Frank, then a congressman, those of you who follow politics will remember him, changed the law that said your beliefs, statements, or associations, as long as they're legal in the U.S. for Americans, can't be grounds to keep you out of the United States. It's insane that we even passed that. It was the end of the Cold War. I think they figured, what could go wrong? So it could be that the litigation may be successful if they try this. I don't know, which means that Congress needs to fix this problem as well. You can't just do things through executive orders, as important as they are. Congress is supposed to be writing laws, and they really need to fix this too.